Hello everyone, welcome back. Hi, Walaikum Salam Aisha. I'm good. How about you? Welcome. Hi Hizima. Welcome everyone. Good morning. Let's ride Aisha. Hello dear Aisha. Welcome. That's great Aisha. Thank you so much for joining. Hello dear Hazma. How are you? It is your beautiful name. Welcome. No, I'm good. Yeah, you're right, dear. काफी अच्छा मौसम है आज. Okay. Comments your beautiful names. Same here, Aisha. Same. Let's see who is next. Welcome. Oh, it's okay, Aisha. कोई बात नहीं. Rida. Hi, Rida. Welcome. Here is good. How are you? Welcome. Janisha. Hi, Janisha. Welcome. It is a beautiful name. Hi, Ruzafa. Hi, I am good. How about you? Welcome. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Tasnia. Here is your name. I am good. How about you? Have a good day to all of you. Hi, welcome. Hi. What is a good name? Anish. Hi. Here is yours. And Padma. It is your good name. You. Welcome, dear you. It is yours. Kendall, welcome back. How's your day going, dear? It is your beautiful name. Dikshi. Hi. Here is your good name. Walaikum Assalam. Hello, Ronaldo. I am good. How about you? Ronaldo for you. Hi, dear Sosiska. It is a good name. How are you? Hi, dear Luna. Here is yours. Hello, dear Anandi. Here is yours. Hi, dear Oliver. How are you? Here is a good name. Hi, dear Sagar. Here is yours. Thank you so much for asking. All good, dear. Malaika, what about yours? Hi, dear Malaika. Here is a good name. Hi, Pearl. Here is yours. What a beautiful name you have. Hi, dear Michael. Here is yours. Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens. And let's see who is next. Have a good day. Hi, dear Hazel. Here is yours. Hi, Huram. How are you? Here is your good name. Welcome. Hello, dear Kennedy. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Parvani. Pavni. Pavni, okay. Thank you so much for subscribing. Here is a beautiful name. Hi, dear Mira. Here is yours. Hey, dear Aileen. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hi, dear Ria. Here is yours. Hello, dear Yadav. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear Kara. Here is yours. Hello, dear Azim. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear Nia. Here is yours. Hello, dear Noor. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sana. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Bella. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Mahad. Mahad? Here is yours. Hello, dear Yadav. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear Mariam. Here is yours. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hello, dear Moin. Here is yours. Hi, dear Vajid. Here is a good name. Vajid. How are you? Hello, dear Dua. Here is yours. Hi, dear Meritza. Welcome back, dear. How are you? Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Tian. How are you? Here is yours. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Maya. Hi, dear Maya. Here is your good name. Is the stream is lagging, guys? Hi, dear Kaki. Here is yours. Hello, dear Natasha. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Dima. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Leviste. Oh, what a unique name you have, dear Leviste. Here is yours. Hi, dear Fia. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Nasser. Here is yours. Hey, dear Elsa. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Maftuna. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Dave. Here is a good name. Hi, dear David. Here is yours. Hello, dear Aika. Here is a good name. How are you? Don't forget to double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button there. Waiting for your finger press, guys. Ishal, hi, welcome. How are you? Hello, dear Angel. Here is a good name. Welcome. Hello, dear Nandan. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Hala. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Arman. Here is yours. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hi, dear Marley. Here is yours. How are you? Hey, dear Maya. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Zana. Here is yours. Hi, dear Tanj. Here is your good name. Tanj. How are you? Hey, dear Enzo. Here is yours. Hello, dear Apriya. Oh, what is your name? Ken. Hi, Ken. Welcome back. Up, Aptija. Oh, wow. What a unique name you have, dear. Aptija. Oh, wow. Here is yours, guys. Don't forget to double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button waiting for you to press. I subscribe. Write my name, please. Okay, Mosika. Hi, dear Mosika. Here is yours. Hello, dear Iker. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Natale. Here is yours. How are you? Hey, dear Supreme. Here is yours. Welcome. Hi, dear Zola. Here is yours. Anurupa. Hi, dear Anurupa. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Neha. Here is yours. Hi, dear Aisha. Samrita. Here is your good name. How are you? My dear Uruj, here is yours. Let's see who is next. Camden. Hi, dear Camden. Here is a good name. You're most welcome, dear. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Nele. Hi, dear Nele. Here is yours. पता नहीं गले को क्या हो गया मेरे. Hi, dear Dakshu. Here is your good name. How are you? Hello, dear Mary. Here is yours. Okay, let's see who is next. Armando. Hi, dear Armando. Here is a good name. Hey, dear Alan. Here is yours. Hey, dear Rasik. Risk. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, Lela. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Seven. Here is yours. Hi, dear Bittu. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hey, dear Ace Noor. Welcome. Here is your beautiful name. Hello, dear Gilberto. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Danya. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Avni. Here is yours. Hello, dear Yasmin. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear. And other Marley. Welcome, guys. Double tap on your screen. Don't don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's see who is next. Ishani. Hi, dear Ishani. Here is your good name. Hey, dear Lola. Here is yours. Hi, dear Zainab. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Emma. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Santiago. Here is your good name. Welcome. Hey, dear Tanya. Here is yours. Tanya, how are you? Hello, dear Ayan. Here is is a good name. How are you? Hi, dear Aradvika. Welcome back. Here is a good name. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Yuvraj. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hey, dear Kenzie. Here is yours. Hello, dear Azim. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Camilla. Why not, dear Camilla? Here is a good name. How are you? Welcome. Hey, dear Juanita. Here is your good name. How are you? Hey, dear Honky. Here is yours. What a unique name you have. Hello, dear Aries. Aries. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Eva. Here is yours. Hello, dear Sophia. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hey, dear Julia. Here is yours. Hey, dear Gia. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Priyanshu. Here is yours. Priyanshu. How are you? Hello, dear Les. Here is yours. Hi, dear Suhas. Here is a good name. How are you? Hello, dear Angela. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, dear Carmen. Here is yours. Hello, dear Dima. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Don't forget to like and subscribe, Leon. Hi, Leon. Here is yours. Hi, dear Casper. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Gia. Here is yours. Hi, dear Muskan. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear. Okay, Kasabi. Let me rewrite your name, dear Kasabi. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Nicole. Here is yours. Hi, dear Vicky. Here is a good name. Hey, dear Elena. Here is yours. Hi, dear Samira. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear Arohi. Here is yours. Double tap on your screen, guys. Let's see who is next. Khanki is done now. Hi, Arushi. Hi, dear Arushi. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Ajmal. Here is yours. How are you? Hey, dear Caroline. Here is your good name. Caroline. Hi, dear Disha. Here is yours. Hi, dear Joy. Here is yours. Hi, dear Eva. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Kumush. Here is yours. Hello, dear Divan. Here is a good name. Hi, dear. Okay. Hi, Sandy. Welcome back. How are you? Here is yours. What's a good name, dear? Shanza. Hi, dear Shanza. Here is a good name. Hey, dear Kavya. Here is yours. Hi, dear Riza. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Emily. Can you put my name and say hello? Why not, dear? Hi, but what is your good name? Hello, dear Candace. Here is a good name. I am good too. Hi, dear Amanda. Here is yours. How are you guys? Don't forget to double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger press. और मेरा गला थोड़ा लगता है खराब हो गया तो इग्नोर करना मेरी वॉइस को ठीक है ना. Hi, dear Nisa. Here is a good name. Okay, let's try Sandy for you. Here is yours. Hi, dear Mrindu. Mrindu. Here is your good name. How are you? Hi, dear. Can you write my nickname Harshu? Welcome back. How are you? Hey, dear Brock. Here is yours. Hi, dear Lupita. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Nasir. Here is yours. Hello, dear Elsa. Here is your good name. Hi, dear Bogi. Here is yours. Hello, dear Mia. Chilmil. Why not? Here is yours. Chilmil. It sounds like a chili willy. Here is yours. Hi, dear Noor. Here's a good name. Hi, dear Lavini. Here is a good name. Double tap on your screen. Here is yours, Durdana. Hi, dear Durdana. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Zenith. Zenith Dean. Oh, wow, what a beautiful name you have. Merhaba. Here is yours. Hi, dear Zawa. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Fekete. Here is yours. Hi, dear Maggie. Here is a good name. How are you? Hello, dear Akshita. Here is yours. You're most welcome, Harshu. Hi, dear Benjamin. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Shri. Here is yours. Hi, dear Fruity. Here is a good name. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hi, dear Shinin. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Zimmer. Here is yours. Welcome, dear. Hi, dear Maha. Here is your good name. Hello, dear. Eh? Lou. Here is yours. Hey, dear Bogni. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Alessia. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Mona. Here is your good name. Let's see who's gonna be the 40 liker, guys. Double tap on your screens. Have to break this 31 number. Okay, Shiri with E. You're most welcome, dear Mona. Hello, dear Martha. Here is yours. Hi, dear Maha. Here is your beautiful name. Hi, you're most welcome, dear. Varus, here is yours. Hi, dear Riza. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Arya. Here is yours. How are you? Oh, पानी गिरने लगा था अभी. ज़रा तेज बोलो. मेरा गला बैठा हुआ है मैं इसलिए थोड़ा हल्का बोल रही हूँ भाई. ज़ारा ही लिख दिया है मैंने. Michio, welcome back. How are you? It is a good name. Welcome back, dear. How are you? Hello, dear Asma. Here is yours. You're most welcome, dear. Hi, dear Reina. Here is a good name. Good. Oh, so good to have you here again. Have a good day. Hi, Ariana. Welcome. How are you? Hi, dear Zan. Here is a good name. Guys, double tap on your screens. We are stuck. Hello, dear. Lots of love, dear. Thank you so much. Itaja. Oh, wow. Where are you from, dear? You have such a unique name. It is a good name. Thank you. Hi, dear Amina. Here is a beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Saba. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Roshni. Here is your beautiful name, Roshini. How are you? Hi, dear Vehin. Here is yours. I always find your life whenever in free and I don't know the reason why though. Oh, thank you so much. Hi, dear Nadia. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hey, dear Lana. Here is yours. Hi, welcome, Harshal. Hi, Harshal. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear Bobby. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Hagen. Here is yours. How are you, dear Dahlia? Hey, dear Dahlia for you. Hi, dear Sidra. Here is a good name. How are you? Hi, dear Nitika. Nikita or Nitika? Nitika. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Kalia. Here is your good name. Hello, dear Vincenzo. Here is yours. Kalia. Kalia is done. Hi, dear Nian. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Gurman. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Rayoni. Who is Sophie? Sophie. With F or with P? Deleza. Hi, Deleza. How are you? Here is yours. Hi, dear. I don't know to. Dear Anisha. Here is a good name. Okay, PH. Sophie. Here is yours. Hi, dear Amal. It is a good name. Hey, dear darling. Here is yours. Hi, dear Latte. Here is a good name. How are you? Hey, dear Sarah. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Vishnu. Here is yours. Hi, dear Mochi. Here is a good name. Konnichiwa. What is the meaning of this? Hi, dear Karthik. Here is a good name. Let's see who is next, guys. Minahil. It means hello in Japanese. Konnichiwa. Did I pronounce it right? Hi, dear Alex. Here is yours. Hey dear Bonnie, here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi dear Joshua, here is yours. Welcome. Hi dear Adeline, here is your good name. How are you? Hey dear Sapandana, here is yours. Hey dear Iker, here is a good name. Hello dear Riza is done now. Francesca. Fran. Here is yours. Hello, dear Tasneem. Here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hi, dear Abhishek. Here is yours. Shifa. Hello, dear Shifa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Sanai. Here is your beautiful name. Hey, dear Abby. Here is yours. How are you? Hey, dear Abhay. Welcome. It is a good name. Let's see who is next, guys. Neva. Hi, dear Neva. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Abdi. Here is yours. How are you? Hello, dear Ria. Here is yours. Sanai. Okay. Sanai. Here is yours, dear. Let's see who is next. Don't forget to double tap on your screens, guys. Avika. Hi, Avika. Welcome. How are you, dear? Hi. Got it. Thank you so much. Filian. Yeah. Yeah, dear. Miss you. I'll try. Hi, dear Kriti. Here is yours. How are you? Guys, don't forget to double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button waiting for you finger press. और मेरी आवाज़ को इग्नोर करना क्योंकि मेरा गला ख़राब है इसलिए मेरे से ज़ोर से नहीं बोला जा रहा ठीक है ना वानो Hi dear Vanu, here is yours Ananya. Hi dear Ananya, here is yours. It's okay dear Michio. How are you? Let's see who is next. Hi, dear Julie. Here is yours. Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, thank you so much. So good to have you here. Hey, dear Momina. Here is your good name. Hi, dear. It's okay. Helena. Here is yours. How are you? Hi, dear Sanvi. Hey dear Tanya, here is yours. How are you? Hi dear Niblis. Cheers. Hi. Here is yours. Welcome. Fatma. Hi Fatma. Welcome dear. Hi dear Momina. मोमिना मैंने लिख दिया था अभी है ना भूल गई हूँ कोई बात नहीं फिर से लिख देते हैं यू मोस्ट वेलकम डियर Let's see who is next, guys. Stella. Hi, dear Stella. Here is a good name. Guys, don't stop double tapping. Aryan, Yash, Haley. Ah, thank you so much, dear Michio. You wanna take them? Vaishnavi. Thank you so much. Lots of love, dear. Yeah. Come on, take them. Rishika. Hi, Rishika. Welcome. How are you? Hi, I am back. Dalia, welcome back. How are you? Here is a good name, dear. As I will. Uh-huh. Dilover. Hi, Dilover. Welcome. Hi, dear Mazi. Here is yours. Hamisha. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Shifa. Here is yours. Nafisa. Here is the beautiful name. Savai. Welcome. How are you? Sarvan. Hi. Sushant. Hi, Sushant. Here is yours. Rose. Hi, Rose. I am good, bro. Thank you so much for asking. Sarah. Kikaila. Hi. What a unique name you have. Who is saying Pushpa? Here is yours. Supper. Hi. Welcome. Let's see who is next, guys. Double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button waiting for your finger press. Nipika. Unique names. Nipika. Here is yours. Ah, thank you so much, dear. Lots of love. Kalindi. Hi, dear Kalindi. Here is yours. Hi. गला बंद हो जाएगा मुझे लग रहा है. Let's see who is next. Paulina. Here is yours. Hi, dear Clara. Here is a good name. Hey, dear Jivika. Here is yours. Hello, dear Jackson. Here is yours. Hi, dear Nuha. Here is yours. You're most welcome. Nazwa. It is a good name. Oh, dear FIFA. Here is yours. Can you do Tiana? Tiana or Tina? Let me check the spelling for you. Tiana. Why not, dear? Here is yours. Have a good day. Thank you so much for subscribing. Abira. Hi, Abira. Welcome. Adus. Hi. Welcome, dear. Alia. Hello, Alia. How are you? Priya. Hello, dear Priya. Here is a good name. Gorika. Hi, dear Gorika. Here is yours. Hi, Jess. Here is yours. Let's see who's gonna be the 50 liker, guys. We are literally stuck. Please double tap on your screens, and there is a subscribe button. I am your big fan. Oh, thank you so much, dear. Lots of love. Hi, dear Nazifa. Here is yours. Hi, dear Prayusha. Prayusha. Here is a good name. Hi, dear Sheme. Oh, you have such a unique name. Let me check the spelling. Mentov. Here is yours. Hi, dear Odina. Here is a good name. Hello, dear Rinda. Here is yours. Hi, dear Yui. Here is yours. Hi, dear Liana. Here is a good name, Smara. Why not, dear? Samara for you. Hello, dear Saleha. It is a good name. I am doing good. How about you, Mozambique? Welcome back. Here is yours. Hi, please. Yes, what's a good name? Hi, Jyoti. How are you? Here is yours. You're most welcome, dear Stuti. Here is yours. Hi, dear Labib. Here is a good name. Hello, dear. Okay, Vrinda wants a screenshot. So good to have you here. Thank you so much. Elena. Hi. Nightbot is kind of bot who is managing spam and giving the timers. Today I am feeling excited. Is everything okay? Hoshay, hi. Here is yours. You're most welcome, dear. Guys, double tap on your screens. Here is your good name, Ahmed. Oh, what's your name? What's the name of your channel, dear? Mm, I'm for the CEO of Easinger. No, I am the CEO. Diksha. Hi, Diksha. Welcome. How are you? Lena. Hi, dear Lena. It is a good name. Hi, dear Kanta. Here is yours. Hello, dear Varsha. Hey, dear Mohit. Here is a good name. Hey, dear Addy. Dishika. Oh, okay. मुझे लगा शायद दीक्षा है. Dishika नाम है आपका. Here is yours. Naheem. Aisha. Naeem Ismail. It is a beautiful name. Hi, dear मीर महमूद. ओके, मैं कह रही हूँ पता नहीं क्या नाम है ये, मुझसे पढ़ा भी नहीं जा रहा. मीर महमूद आपने एक साथ लिखा है। अब पढ़ा है मैंने बहुत गौर से। Hi, I am back again. It's me. I'm not. Do you remember me? I always. Yeah. I'm now. Welcome back. It is a beautiful name, dear. Thank you so much for joining again. How are you? Thank you. You're most welcome. Bring it up on your screens. Let's see who's gonna be the Manzira. Secret time I like her. Munzira. Hi. इस तरह पड़ा है क्या मतलब भाई मुंजीरा क्या मेरी आवाज़ बिल्कुल स्लो आ रही है क्या ठीक आ रही है कपिल हाय कपिल वेलकम आज ना मेरे गले में दर्द हो रही है मेरा बोलने का दिल नहीं चाह रहा हानिया हाय हानिया वेलकम ये गिनी तो कपिल की वाइफ है ना कपिल शर्मा शो के कैरेक्टर्स के नाम लिख पा रहे हो भाई Here is yours. Hi dear Ruhi. That is a good name. Hi dear Pratik. Here is yours. Hello dear Najbeen. Hi Vrinda जी मुझे याद आपका नाम कैसे हो आप Here is yours. Hi dear Irshad. Here is a beautiful name. Hello dear Minal. Here is yours. Hi dear Vishal. Here is your beautiful name. Hi dear Saliha. Here is yours. क्या मतलब समझ ही नहीं आई Hi dear friend, here is yours. Loyalty की बेस पर मतलब मानसी Hi Mansi, here is yours. Hi dear Gurjeet. Gurjeet, here is your beautiful name. How are you? Hello dear Yamal. Here is yours. Hi dear Vansh. Here is a good name. How are you? Hello dear Ikra. Here is a beautiful name. Hey dear Savvy. Here is yours. Hi dear. Hi, welcome back. Rain, how are you? Here is yours. प्रतीक जी लिख दिया था मैंने क्या हुआ नज़म भाई आपके लिए लिख दिया है मैंने देखो शगुन ने लिखा हाँ शगुन Good morning to you too. How are you dear? आयरा है ओहो हम्म, पहले वाला भी मैंने उनके लिए लिखा था वैसे इतने ज़्यादा इमोजीज यूज़ मत करो भाई रुद्रा हाय रुद्रा वेलकम Anna hi dear Anna how are you Suhani Hello, Suhani. Vidhi. Hi, Vidhi. Welcome. Isa. हाँ भाई मेरे गले में दर्द है इसलिए खामोश खामोश हूँ थोड़ा. नेक्स्ट क्या है मेजी. विधान. We are literally stuck on 52. Double tap on your screen. Dipesh. Mansi. Han is already done, dear. Reshu is already done. Let's try Smiley. नहीं 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 भाई आपको लगता है क्या. Yeah, I know it's like Najib. Oh, welcome back, Sarah. How are you? Here is yours. Momina. Hi. सस गर्मी का कोई हल. आज तो बारिश हो रही है. How are you? You're very quiet today. देखो सबको पता है कि रोज कितना बोलती है, ये आज क्यों चुप करके बैठ गया. बस ऐसे ही. Because I have a throat, so that's why. गले में थोड़ी सी दर्द है भाई, बस इसलिए. मुस्तफ़ा. Hi. महक. रिया. यमल आपका नाम लिख दिया था मैंने डियर. सरावा. Hi. Welcome. नहीं भाई. अच्छा नहीं लग रहा. मुझे तो लगा 2 मिनट के लिए कोई भी आपके लिए. अरे नहीं नहीं मैं ही हूँ. मारी. पहले मैं बोल रही थी, अभी 2 मिनट चुप थी. हाय मारी. वेलकम. हाउ आर यू? हेलो डियर मॉलिदा. It is yours. How are you, dear? Thank you so much for joining. Meerab. Hi, Meerab. Welcome. How are you? Akshay. Hi. It is a good name. Selma. Hello, Selma. How are you? You're most welcome, dear. Thank you. Fatma. Hi, Fatma. Welcome. Huh? Peaches. Amelia. Hi, Amelia. Good name. Florentina. क्या नाम था? Let me check the spelling. Florentina. It's lagging, dude. Okay, Ria. कैसा लग रहा है? टिकट गाने के आगे आगे बजाने दो वीडियो क्यों करना? क्या मतलब? कौन सी डाउनलोड की थी आपने? हाय यार पीचीज हाय क्या बात है भाई फेक हाय अहाना अरे स्ट्रीम लैग कर रही है ना एना अहमद पता नहीं लेक्चर कोड पर की लिखा है मेरे सर के ऊपर से गई आपकी बात मुझे समझ नहीं आई क्या लिखा है आपने मुझे समझाई थैंक यू सो मच डियर hello oh Gargi welcome back yeah I remember you dear and I have seen your comment dear on my post है या maybe live बहुत ज़्यादा है ना क्या करूँ नेटवर्क ही ऐसा चल रहा है और ऊपर से बारिश हो रहा है अमल hi Amal welcome how are you doing today I am doing good how about you dear Leah hi Leah welcome Vicky done एक मिनट I am fine good to hear ऐसी लग कर रही है ना have a good day Jackie, Roshni, Alishba। किसका नहीं, उसी का पूछ रही हूँ जो आप कह रहे थे डाउनलोड किया मैंने। पिन मतलब मेरी आईडी पे कैसे पिन हो सकती है? आपने की थी क्या अपनी आईडी पे? नबीला, रूही, रूही मैंने लिख दिया था पहले। सुनील, हाय। नाव्या, हाय नाव्या, वेलकम। अहमद मैंने लिख दिया था भाई। हिसियम, हाय। Ellie Istanto, Lina, hi Lina, welcome. How are you? आपके लिए काफ़ी सारे लिख दिए हैं ना मैंने। ये क्या है? एडी, ओह माय गॉड, इतनी डिफिकल्ट फॉन्ट है, पढ़ा नहीं जा रहा है। क्या लिखा है? कैलन। मेरा पेट दर्द कर रहा है, मेरे पैर दर्द कर रहे हैं, मुझे कुछ करने का मन कर रहा है, इसलिए बाय बाय। थोड़ा अच्छा लगा तो फिर मेरा भी गला दर्द कर रहा है और मेरा दिल कर रहा है मैं कहीं भाग जाऊँ, सैर करने जाऊँ यहाँ से। एलिस, हाय एलिस, वेलकम। मतलब कि आप 2 वीडियोस पिन की हैं ना अपनी आईडी पर, उसका बोल रहा था। हाँ तो मैंने वो कब की पिन की हुई हैं अपनी आईडी। हाँ हाँ मैंने की हुई हैं। अदीना, मैंने कितनी देर हो गई है दोबारा वो वाली आईडी खोली तक नहीं है। You're most welcome dear, thank you. Okay रूही, Amy, what's a good name dear? Neerav, hi Neerav, maybe, yeah maybe I remember you, maybe. Want to know your name? Hi Alicia, here is yours. Minal, hi Minal, welcome. How are you? You're most welcome. बस अब आपकी नहीं, हालांकि उस पर ज़्यादा अच्छे थे लेकिन डाल नहीं रही मैं। उस पर ज़्यादा अच्छे व्यूज़ हैं, आपने देखा ही होगा, लेकिन दोबारा मैंने पोस्ट नहीं किया वहाँ पे, टाइम नहीं मिलता। जेक, हाय अफान, वेलकम। हाउ आर यू? हना, हाय हना, इतने दिनों बाद हना नेम आया है। Here is your beautiful name. Okay, let's see who's gonna be the last name for this stream. Jackie, Afan, guys, double tap on your screens and don't forget to press the subscribe button. जी ट्रेजर लिया है आपके आईडी और कहाँ जाता हूँ? ये क्या है? इंस्टीएबल, ये कोई नई ऐप है क्या? Hi dear Sadia, here is a good name. आज मिस टाइपिंग हो रही है मुझसे, यूजुअली मेरा काम है ये, है ना? टाइपिंग मिस्टेक्स, ऑटो करेक्टर ऑन कर लो ना, फिर वो खुद ही से करेक्ट कर देगा। Here is yours. मुझे भाई आप इतने ज़्यादा ये वाइटी वाली मुझे कब से यूज़ करने लग गए हो भाई? एलाडा, हाय एलाडा, here is a good name. Okay, our last name for this stream is Jaden. मैं जा रही हूँ भाई. भाई मौसम अच्छा है पर सुस्ती बढ़ गई है. ऐसे सबसे आदत लगी हुई थी मुझे की स्टार्टिंग में मुझे बहुत बुरी लगती थी. ऐसे क्यों लगी है भाई? क्यों आपने डाली है ये आदत? इरफान. आदित्य. डोंट फॉरगेट टू डबल डबल टैप. बारिश में एकदम सड़ गई. बारिश रुक गई अब भाई. And our last name for this stream is Milo. Jordan. हाँ, मुझे खुद को लग रहा है. फातिमा. Okay, now I am going to end this stream. And our last name for this stream is अपना ही लिख के जाएंगे हम. महंगी गई है मत. समझ ही नहीं आया मुझको. मैं जा रही हूँ मुझे भाई. लगाती हूँ विक्स की गोली. विक्स लगा कर अपने गले को थोड़ा ठीक करते हैं फिर दोबारा आएंगे. ठीक है. Okay guys, now I'm going to end the stream. Alada. पहले मैंने क्या स्पेलिंग में मिस्टेक किया था. मैंने सेम स्पेलिंग लिखा था ना. Alada is our last name for this stream. भी नहीं आए हैं. कोई बात नहीं, आ जाएंगी दूसरी वाली में आ जाएंगी. Sonia. Hi Sonia. Rohan. Hi Rohan. Rohan Sharma ji. Welcome. Julie. Saska. खुशी. लोकेशन नहीं आई ना करके. हाँ ठीक है ठीक है. मोस्ट वेलकम डियर. स्ट्रीम लैग करने लगी फिर से. राबिया. है ना. लैग करी है ना भाई. नेटवर्क ने बहुत तंग किया हुआ है. एंड लुकिंग फॉर द last name for this stream, which is Sandra. ठीक हो रहा मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही. चलो मैं चलती हूँ. बाय. Bye guys. Thank you so much for joining. I'll be back after 1 hour. Till then, take infinity.